Hello, this video is about phonological awareness and phonics. I'm Muriel Rand from New Jersey City University. Let's get started. What is phonological awareness? This means when children are aware of the sounds in the language. It has nothing to do with letters or spelling. It's just about sounds. And I'm going to teach you a little bit about sounds to get started. Speech sounds can be classified as either consonants or vowels. You knew that already, but you might not have known why they're consonants or why they're vowels. When we say a consonant, the air does not flow freely. It is stopped by our lips, our teeth, or that alveolar ridge in our mouth or our tongue. So the air is stopped in some way or slowed down in some way. Vowels are said completely open. So the vowels flow freely to create the different sounds. That's why you can sing a vowel, but you can't sing a consonant. Now, what are phonemes? Phonemes are the smallest unit of sound. They're not the same as letters because English is a little bit tricky. For example, in English, some letters have more than one phoneme. For example, X actually has two sounds. It's a k, s. So if you say 6, for example, it's I, k, s. It has 4 sounds, even though it only has 3 letters. And some sounds have more than one letter, such as the digraphs. TH, it only makes one sound. We don't say th, it's th or th. CH and SH, they're one sound, even though they have 2 letters. Why is that? It's because there are 44 sounds in English and there's only 26 letters. So as a way, we really needed more letters. So they use letter combinations for the additional sounds. Now, if we look at English consonant phonemes, that's the smallest sound, they vary by where the sound is made in your voice, in your mouth. So, and how you make the sound. So on the top of this chart, you don't really have to know this, but it's kind of interesting when you're teaching phonics and phonemic awareness to young children, why they make the mistakes they make. And I'm going to show you why. So across the top are all the different areas that you make the sounds. So bilabial are sounds made with your 2 lips. Bilabial means 2 lips. Labiodental means your lip against your teeth. Interdental is between your teeth. Alveolar, the alveolar ridge is that little bumpy spot behind your teeth. Alveolar palatal is a little bit farther back in your mouth. The palatal it's kind of the roof of your mouth. The velar is in the back of your mouth. If you say a K or G, you'll feel that in the back. And the glottal is all the way in the back. Like if you say a you can feel that all the way in the back. So this kind of goes from front to back, if you look at the chart from left to right. And then from top to bottom tells you what kind of sound. So a stop is when we stop the sound completely. A fricative and an affricative is we just kind of slow down the sound like friction. A nasal is when the sound goes through our nose. A lateral approximate, that's lateral means side. We make that kind of with the side. Retroflex approximant, that's our really weird R that's so unique to English. And then a glide is when we switch kind of from one shape to another. What is interesting about this chart that I want you to notice is that there are pairs of consonants that go together. And one is voiced and the other one is voiceless. So if you see the ones in the dark that are shaded are voiced, and the ones that are in the light area are voiceless. So say a P, 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 and put your fingers on your voice box, and you'll notice you don't feel anything. And then say a B, 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 and you'll notice that your voice vibrates a little bit. So there are all of these different pairs that are made in the exact same way in your mouth, except that one of them you vibrate your voice box, and the other one you don't. So that's why children make mistakes between P's and B's, and they make mistakes between F and V's and T's and D's and S's and Z's and the 2 TH sounds. Those weird symbols in the interdental column are the two THs. So the voiceless TH is like in thin, and the voiced TH is the, as in the. So say thin and the, and you can feel the difference. So those are voiced and voiceless pairs. And you'll notice in their writing that children get these confused sometimes as well. So you can see that the sounds of English are very complicated, and it takes children a long time, right up through second grade actually, to have mastered all of these different consonants. The vowels are perhaps even more confusing. We have short vowels, we have long vowels. You might have thought that's all we have. No, we have digraphs that are two letters that make one sound. We have R-controlled vowels, and we have diphthongs that are two letters that make two sounds that kind of glide together. So we have a great variety of vowel sounds, and they are made just by changing the shape of your mouth. So if you feel the difference between an ah, 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 see how your mouth is shaped, say an ah, and then say an oi, 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 and you can see that your mouth shape is going to change a lot. So not surprisingly, vowels are very difficult for children to learn, and you'll notice that in preschool and kindergarten, we focus primarily on consonants because it's too difficult for them to learn all of these different vowels. And again, these different vowels are taught right up through second grade. It takes students a long time to learn all these different vowels. We start with the short vowels, then we go with the long vowels, kind of in order of this chart. So they become more and more complicated as we go up through the grades. This is a chart that shows the different vowel sounds, which ones are front sounds, which ones are middle sounds, which ones are back sounds. Again, you don't really need to know this as just a classroom teacher. Speech language specialists would know this, and reading specialists would probably know this. But it is interesting to know that there are all of these different vowel sounds that are made simply by changing the shape of your mouth. So again, it's tough. This is a lot for kids to learn. So as I mentioned, we have 26 letters, but there are 42 to 44 sounds. It depends on what you consider different sounds. So therefore, we have digraphs that are two sounds that make the two letters that make one sound. We have trigraphs, three letters that make one sound, and we have letters with more than one sound. So this gets very confusing, needless to say, and this is why it's very important that children have direct instruction in phonics and phonemic awareness throughout the early years, preschool through second grade. They should have very systematic teaching of all of the different sounds and how they go together. So you might be thinking, well, how do I do that? I don't know these sounds. If you don't have a program to teach phonics or phonemic awareness, then you'll want to do some research on your own. There are many websites that can help you with this. Most schools nowadays are using a phonemic awareness or phonics program that is going to systematically teach these from, usually it starts in kindergarten, from kindergarten through second grade. It usually takes 3 years to learn all of the different sounds and letters that are needed to decode. Now let's talk about phonological awareness versus phonics. That's the whole theme of this video, and I'm going to go over it multiple times. Phonological awareness is the child's ability to break apart the sounds and put them back together. So if we said, take the word cat and now say k, at, and the child should be able to say k, at. Now, I'm going to give you the sounds k, at, put them back together and make a word. And then their ability to take at and then put it back together to say cat. I'm actually going to have you do an assessment like this, and you'll be amazed that young children cannot do that. That is actually a very difficult task. Phonics is just matching the sounds to the letters. Phonics is knowing that a k is a c and an a is an a and a t is a t. You can tell that those are very different, different skills. Like I could know that c is a k and a is an a and t is a t, and still not be able to decode, not be able to put them together or sound them out because they're two different skills. Phonic awareness comes first, and it's necessary in order to be good at phonics later on. So in preschool and kindergarten, we have a very strong focus on phonological awareness. It moves into first grade as well. By second grade, it's done. So in order to help you understand phonemic awareness or phonological awareness, the difference between those two words is phonological awareness means awareness of all sounds. Phonemic awareness means awareness of the smallest sounds, but we use them somewhat interchangeably. So if you hear phonemic awareness or phonological awareness, they're kind of the same. So how many phonemes are in the following words? I'm going to give you a little fun quiz here. Church. You'll see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, but the two CHs only make one sound, ch. So there's actually only 4 phonemes in that word. Here's stump. How many phonemes are in stump? Well, a phoneme is the smallest number, so this the tiniest little sound. So it's st, p. So we have 5 phonemes. In this case, we have 5 letters and we have 5 phonemes. How about shoe? This one is a little tricky because you might think there's a lot of sounds in this word because there are 4 letters, but sh only makes one sound and oo only makes one sound. So we actually only have 2 phonemes, sh, oo. Here's biggest. B, I, G, E, st. So how many is that? Try it out on your own and see if you can count it. 6 phonemes. There's 7 letters, but we only say the G ones. How about elephant? Again, the PH only makes one phoneme. So we have 7 phonemes in elephant. E, L, E, F, A, Nt. It's important for you to be able to hear these phonemes so that you can help your students break them apart. If you're having trouble breaking them apart, you just need to practice this more. This is a skill that everybody can get better at. You just need to practice, 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 practice. So in phonemic awareness, we're separating the phonemes. We're pulling them apart. We're substituting phonemes. So I might say, take cat and take off the k and put in a b so that you get bat. And we might combine phonemes. So again, we might give the kid a k, at, and see if they can blend that into a word. So these are the different levels. It starts with the easiest thing that kids can learn is rhyming and alliteration. Alliteration means words that start with the same sound, like bat, book, bird, big. And then sentence segmentation, so being able to break apart words in a sentence, then being able to break apart syllables, and then being able to break the first letter off of, or the first sound off of the word. That's what an onset and rhyme means. So being able to say k, at, b, ook, book, og, dog. So we're pulling off the first sound and then using the rest of the word. And then finally, phonemic awareness, in which we segment each of the sounds in the word. So again, this goes from easiest to hardest. So this goes from preschool, rhyming and alliteration. We can do sentence segmentation, even some syllable segmentation, right up through 2nd grade. Now, phonics, as I mentioned before, are learning the letters that go with the phonemes. So phonological awareness is separating the phonemes. Phonics is learning what letters go with them and being able to decode them. So when we talk about decoding, it means that we're using phonemic awareness and phonics. We're using both of them to sound out the words. So if we wanted to read this, first we need to know the sound that each letter makes, which is phonics. Then we need to separate the phonemes, which is phonemic awareness. Then we need to say the sound of the letter, which is phonics. And then we need to blend the sounds, which is phonemic awareness. So you can see if you're not teaching phonemic awareness, you're only teaching half of the skills that the kids need in order to be able to decode once they get into kindergarten and 1st grade. Now, our state standards have one of the areas is reading foundational skills. And there are 4 categories here: print concepts, phonological awareness, phonics and word recognition, and fluency. I'm going to show you that same chart again and look at the grade levels. So the print concepts are pre-K through first grade. So this is, how print works, that we go from left to right, how we read books, et cetera, et cetera. Phonological awareness is pre-K through first grade, preschool through first grade. Phonics and word recognition is preschool all the way up through 5th grade, and fluency is preschool through 5th grade. So you'll see that phonological awareness is only preschool through first grade. So that's why it's so important for our pre-K, K, and first grade teachers to understand phonological awareness and be able to teach it well. It's also important to know because if you're teaching 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade and you have a child who's struggling with reading, they probably need help with phonological awareness. So again, let me go through this, what phonological awareness looks like in the classroom. It's making rhymes, it's counting, blending, and separating syllables and words without looking at the letters or the written words. It's identifying the first sound of a word, not the first letter, the middle sound or the ending sound, without looking at or spelling the word. It's being able to hear it without looking at the written cues. It is separating the first sound of a word from the rest of the word, like b, uk, k, at, s, un. Again, without seeing the letters, without reading the word. This is all done orally, only listening. If you are doing phonological awareness activities and you're giving the children the letters or the words to read, they'll use those as cues without having to listen to the sounds. So make sure when you're teaching phonological awareness, you are not giving the students the printed words or the printed letters. You want them to do this just based on what they're hearing. Phonics and word recognition, on the other hand, is always done with letters. So it's associating letters with sounds, it's decoding simple words by sounding them out, recognizing sight words, and knowing those spelling sound correspondences. So hopefully this video has been a help in understanding the difference between phonics and phonological awareness, and you have a better understanding of the reading foundational skills and what we are teaching when we're teaching those reading foundational skills.